Holiday season is here and Christmas is right around the corner. And if you're watching this video, then it means you still haven't figured out the right gift to get that special photographer, filmmaker, content creator in your life. Because otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And if there's anything I've learned about buying someone a gift, especially someone who's really into some sort of hobby, is that it's extremely hard. Take someone who loves building gunpla and model kits, for example. Getting them a kit to build probably isn't the best idea in the world unless you're absolutely sure what it is that they wanted or that they still didn't have that kit yet. And that's why I came up with this comprehensive list of gift ideas. And no, we're not going to talk about cameras and lenses here. Instead, we're going to look at the other things, from the smaller, cheaper, useful ones to the more cooler, pricier stuff, so that you'll be sure that the gift you're going to give them is going to add value to them. So let's take a look at gift ideas for photographers, filmmakers, and content creators in 2020. Let's start with something very simple. Silica Gels. I love these things. These are cheap, easy to find, and very, very important in keeping your gear dry and safe from fungus. I bought these at Ace Hardware for less than 100 pesos or 2 USD. So if you're from the Philippines, you'll be very familiar with Ace Hardware. They're usually very effective up to 60 days before you have to replace them. So you know those things that you find in bags and shoes when you first open them or when you first buy them? Those that say do not throw away, do not eat, they're actually very, very important. So yeah, whenever we're traveling, I make sure that I get a fresh batch of these. I put them in all of my bags. If it's a bag and it has gear in it, these things go inside. They're everywhere. I always make sure that my bags always have a fresh pack of these inside. Next cheap thing on this list is a camera cleaning kit, which usually consists of a blower so that you can blow the dust from the lenses that you have. Next is a brush so that you can brush said dust before applying a lens cleaning solution with a microfiber cloth. So you don't want to be using your shirt when you're out and you're shooting. You want a microfiber cloth. I like getting the smaller sets because they're more compact. They're always in my bag. Like 100% of the time if I'm leaving and I'm bringing along my camera, I always have a lens cleaning kit inside it. Next item on the list is this thing. This is a multifunctional USB card reader by UUrig. And this particular model comes with a slot for a micro SD card and a standard SD card. It has USB Type-C on one end and USB Type-A on the other, which is great when you're always on the go, since not all laptops or computers for that matter come with USB card readers. I love this thing because I deal with different types of SD cards, both a micro SD and a standard SD card, so it saves me the trouble from looking for an adapter for micro SD cards. I just slot them in there and then plug it into the computer, and then I can access my files easily. Very cheap, very easy to find. This one by UUrig. Next are screen protectors. Kind of self-explanatory. This one is made by GGS Screen Protector. This one is made by GGS and it's tempered glass, so it's nicer and sturdier than ordinary screen protectors. They make specific sizes and designs for specific models, so make sure to check that you're getting the right one for the camera that you're using or that person that you're getting a gift for is using. Next thing I would suggest are batteries. You can never really have too much of them. It's much better to have extra batteries than to run out of them. Now I use the ones from Power because one, I've never had any issues with them, and two, because they come with their own dual charging pad, which is great, and three, because they come in very nice packaging, which I know isn't that important, but it's just nice to have. Now with Power specifically, this NPF W50, which I use to power my A6400, I've never had issues. They charge well, they don't run out of battery that fast, they don't swell, and I've been using these for 1 to 2 years now. I use the NPF 550 to power my external monitor and my lights if I wanted to, and the NPF Z100 to power my A7 III. Now, next are hard drives. Very, very important. I have had 2 hard drives break in the past containing memories, photos, videos of our travels, which is very, very frustrating. 1, I was able to recover partly, and 2, well, In general, I would say avoid the slim type hard drives because those were the ones that I think they break easier than standard ones. But if I had to buy new ones now, I would pick the portable SanDisk SSD drives because it's smaller, it's lightweight, and it doesn't have mechanical parts like a traditional HDD, which is gonna be safer. While we're on the topic of storage, let's go to the next item on the list, memory cards. And like batteries, you can never really have too much of them. It's actually my fail-safe default answer when someone asks me what gift I want to receive. My only suggestion would be to check out cards that are class 3 and above, ones that write at speeds of 150 to 170 MB per second, just so you can record high-speed stuff, 4K stuff without any problems. I usually get 64 gigs per card just so I'm not keeping everything in one basket. Like if something were to happen to one card, at least not everything, not all of the photos and videos from one particular trip will go to waste. Next thing I would suggest are these guys. These are camera filters, particularly UV filters and variable ND filters. Now I usually get the ones from Nisi because they're very good, high quality, and they don't affect the image quality at all. And they basically protect the front element of your lens, which shows. So should something happen So should you bump your lens accidentally, the UV filter should be the one that breaks and not the glass itself. So it's easy, you just screw it in like this. And again, it's another layer of security. Some people don't like it, but personally I like putting them to take care of my gear. Now the next thing I would suggest is a variable ND filter. And the reason again, this is made by Nisi, and the reason why I suggest that is because this is particularly important when you're shooting videos or when you're making films and you want to shoot at wide apertures outdoors. This is going to be very, very, very important for those kinds of shots. You know, like those blown out, blurred backgrounds in bright daylight, the variable ND filter is going to be your best friend. Now, again, I use the one from Nisi because that doesn't really affect the image quality. There are no X marks. There are lots of other brands out there. I just prefer the ones made by Nisi. Buying camera filters can get pretty expensive pretty fast without you noticing it. Especially for something like the variable ND filter, it would be very, very expensive if I bought one for every lens that I own. That's why the next item on the list that I would suggest are these guys. These are step up, step down filter adapter rings, and what they do is they adapt a particular size of filter to a particular size of lens. For example, this lens, this Sigma 16mm lens, has a filter thread of 67mm, and that is the same filter thread that my variable ND filter has, so it will fit perfectly like so because it's the same size. But what if I wanted to use it with the Sony 28-70, for example, the one that has a filter thread size of 55mm. Now that won't really work because the thread, my variable ND filter is bigger than this one, so I won't be able to attach it. But with the use of a filter thread, the right filter thread size, now I can attach it here as well, saving me lots of money from buying variable ND filters for all of my lenses. Now I can just use the one variable filter and adapt it to all of my other lenses. These things are very, very cheap, like less than $2, around 70-50 pesos, depending where you buy them. It's super cheap, so it saves a lot of money. So I definitely would suggest getting them. The one thing you have to watch out for is the filter thread size. You have to be sure what thread or what size the thread of the lens that the person you're buying for has, so you'll be able to mix and match. Speaking of saving you some money, one thing that's very expensive in this hobby are macro lenses. That's why the next thing on the list are these guys, macro extension tubes. These ones are made by Meike, and I actually made an extensive video about this one in this channel few months back. You can check that right here. What they do in a nutshell is they turn any lens that you already own into macro lenses, and these cost just a shade under 1,000 pesos or $20, which is great. Moving on to the next item, something to protect our gear and further expand it into many other things in the future are these things, camera cages. The one I got is made by a company called UUrig or by Ulanzi. I think they're under the same company. And the reason I got them versus something like the small rig camera cages is simply because of the price. I couldn't justify getting the small rig because it's twice as expensive as a UUrig cage, and they're basically the same thing. They're pieces of metal that protect your camera's body and allow you to attach many different upgrades in the future should you decide to turn it into something much more than just a basic camera. So yeah, next thing on the list are camera cages. Speaking of great value, a good addition to any filmmaker's kit are good microphones. That's why I suggest this super cheap Boya BY-MM1 shotgun mic and the one I'm using right now, the Boya BY-MM1 lavalier mic. This one comes in at around 800 pesos, and this one I was able to buy at around 450 through a Lazada sale. It's so cheap, makes your audio sound better. I guess that's all the reason you need to get yourself a very good microphone. Studio lights can be very expensive too. That's why the next item on the list I would recommend or suggest getting are these guys. This kit is specifically the VGym LED Video Dual Lighting Kit. It comes with two pieces of LED lights with different color temperatures and brightness. They also come with diffusers, so you can diffuse the lights better, and these color gels. And another thing that made me really want to buy this set is the fact that it comes with two tabletop tripods. I think this kit comes in at 2,800 pesos, which can sound pricey, but you're getting lots of things here, and I think it's well worth the price. These are gonna come in handy when I'm out traveling and when I'm doing some run and gun vlog for some reason, and I decide to do a video. So yeah, VGym LED Video Dual Lighting Kit by Ulanzi. So now we've come to the final segment of this list. The last few items on this list are not going to be directly related to photography and filmmaking, but I'm sure any photographer, filmmaker, content creator is gonna enjoy them. It's time to talk about
reindeer paws, out jumps good old Santa Claus, down through the chimney with lots of toys, all for the little ones' Christmas joys.
Now, we're coffee people. We used to hang out a lot in coffee shops, and with all that's happened, especially this year, I'm sure everyone is missing their own great cup of coffee. That's why the first thing we're gonna talk about is this magical thing called the Aeropress. Aeropress is this small, believe it or not, coffee machine, coffee maker that produces really good coffee. I'm not gonna go into the details about it. There are lots of other videos, but just keep in mind, if you want good quality coffee, something that you spend more money on outside, this one can do the job. Of course, you're gonna need something to grind those coffee beans with. That's why the next item on this list is this Porelex coffee grinder. It's made in Japan. We bought it locally for about 3,000 pesos. Does the job. Flip the lid open, pour the coffee beans here, attach the handle, and just grind your beans. Now, some people are not gonna be totally fans of the Aeropress because it can be a bit inconsistent at times depending on how well you follow instructions. And for those people, we can also suggest something like the Clever Dripper. This is also a coffee brewing machine, totally manual. You use filters inside, put them here, grind your beans, put them here, and then just wait for it to brew and sit it on top of a cup and watch your coffee drip. Take note though that for you to be able to use these items, you're going to need coffee filters. But these filters are cheap. Like one pack, like this pack of 100 pieces for the Clever Dripper is around 230 pesos. So it's not also too much of a big deal. So that's it for this list. Remember, 90% of the items here on this list can be bought, purchased, and delivered the same day. So if you're watching this right now, it's just a few more days before Christmas. Get online, check the items that we've mentioned here, and if you find something that fits your budget, order them right now. My name is Justin Espejo, and I hope you liked this video. Hit the like button if you did. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and as always, thanks for watching. Merry Christmas!